What is going on, traders? We got a few things to talk about. Tomorrow, we got some key events that I want you guys to lock in on, and I want you guys to be prepared for. Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So tomorrow, at 8:30 Eastern, we have unemployment data. 11 a.m. Eastern, we have President Trump speaking. And I think the most important news of all that I think the market is going to be waiting on or anticipating is Japan announcing its rate decision. Now, why this news is important is because last time we got this news, we did see the market tank. Now, last time it was considered a black swan event. This time, I don't think that's going to be the case, and I think the market is going to be more prepared for it, but it's still something you should not take lightly. So I think the main events that you want to pay attention to is one, not Jerome Powell, President Trump speaking. I don't think unemployment data is going to have too huge of an effect at this point. For now at least, and then that Japan rate decision. So those are the two main events that you definitely want to pay attention to. Now, the Japan rate decision is after hours, so I guess I should say you should be more prepared for what's to happen Friday. And right now, we are in very bearish territory, and I imagine bears are foaming at the mouth right here, waiting for any type of bad news to come in. And so far, the market is dropping. It's not dropping like crazy or anything like that, but it's giving up some key levels that we need to talk about. And so right now, we are looking at the SPY. And like I said in the last few videos, that we are at that level where we originally saw Jerome Powell pretty much tank the market, for lack of better wording. We saw it move all the way from 608, 607 range, and we broke all the way down to this gap fill all the way to 576. And so now we're back in this area, and this is where I'm warning you guys to be cautious at, okay? A lot of you just have terrible comprehension skills, mainly my trolls. To my supporters, you guys are great. The trolls, your comprehension skills are unreal right now. Like, holy crap. So, let me make this clear, okay? Let me make this clear the best way I can, because I even marked it out the last video, and somehow it just still did not click. So, it is very much possible, okay, that we see a sell off from this point. Why? Because Jerome Powell originally sold off the market here, right? Bears are very much present here. Okay, you see a lot more bearish. You don't need a volume profile or anything. You see a lot more bearish candles in this area than bullish candles. And then bears took complete control once we broke below 598. And so what I'm warning here is to be careful in this area, because the same thing can happen again, considering the amount of news that we have coming up. All right, so I am anticipating. Okay, I am anticipating, and I could be wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong. I don't care to be wrong. I'm going to be wrong sometimes. I am anticipating that we possibly start to roll over and fill at least one or two of these gaps on the SPY before we see another leg up. That is not me saying, oh, the market can go this way or it can go that way. That's like, I don't know how you're getting that. I'm saying, just like I said in the last video, that I do expect a dip before we break to newer highs. So ultimately, I still anticipate all-time highs. I just expect a dip before then. How that wasn't understood last video, I have no clue. So hopefully we got it. Hopefully we're understanding. Hopefully we got our hearing aids in. And again, this is for the people that troll in my comments. Supporters, love you to death. But holy crap. Like, it's like the more views you get on YouTube, it's just like sometimes the more brain cells you lose. And I do not care about, I do not try to be conservative with how I talk on this channel. So again, we are at these Jerome Powell areas, this Jerome Powell area, right, where he originally tanked the market, right? The amount of news we have coming in tomorrow could either make or break us right here. And I imagine that's what the market is waiting on, whether it's President Trump or the Japan news. Right here, we want to be very, very careful. To the downside, we are very illiquid. And so our key levels here, and I think this is the part where people get confused just because I talk about key levels that I'm just talking, that I'm saying, oh, it can go either direction. Your key levels are for you to pay attention to, for you to trade or decide to not trade, whatever you want to do with them. Okay. Key levels 598. We are above 598, so we don't have to worry about that. But if we break below 598 again, it's going to get ugly. Okay. Want to make that clear. After that, 600. After that, 602, 604. Right now, we are mounted above 606, which is one of our key levels now. Very, very good news here. Okay. So as long as we stay above 606 on the SPY, things are looking okay. Okay, it's not looking great, but it's looking okay. What we want to do here is break out of this area. Like I said in the last video, if we're at this Jerome Powell level and originally he tanked the market here, then what we want to see is news that's equivalent to Jerome Powell speaking for us to break higher. We fortunately we do have that news coming in tomorrow. Donald Trump is speaking tomorrow, so very much possible that he can cause a market melt up. Okay, very much possible. All right, so that's pretty much what I was saying last video. I don't know what else to say here. Okay. But me personally, overall, I do expect new highs. But short term, I do anticipate a dip buy, or not a dip buy, but some type of pullback, whether it's to this gap here at 603, 602 range, or this gap all the way to 594 before we see a move to newer highs. Now, what I will say is that we do have room to see a move to 609, which I guess would somewhat be newer highs. 609, if we get above 609.07, that is new highs. So it's something. Okay, so 610 after that will be your psych level, and then 612, 614 again. Like I've said multiple videos, if we head towards all-time highs, I do think 614 is my short-term target. And so that's what I'm looking at for the SPY if we're talking about upside. Now if we're talking about downside, again, your key levels is 598. You break below 598, chances are you're heading towards this gap fill all the way towards 594, 595. Again, this is me talking about key levels that you need to mark on your charts, or that you should mark on your charts. It's not me saying, oh, the market can go this way or that way. Okay. Hopefully we got it this time. Okay. Hopefully it's clicking this time. All right. So that is what you need to pay attention to when it comes to the SPY. Overall, guys, all I'm saying here is to be cautious. I'm not expecting the market to tank or crash or anything like that. I'm not saying, oh, this is going to happen. I'm not even talking about a move to 584 just yet. All right. So the lowest I'm looking at is a move towards 594, if anything, if that. All right. I haven't even talked about this. Okay, in the last few videos, I haven't even really talked about us heading here at all. So something to think about, something to pay attention to. Hopefully we got it. Hopefully it makes sense now. So we look at the triple Qs. All right. So we look at the triple Qs, and what's interesting about the triple Qs here is that you do have this hammer pattern right here. Okay. Kind of too obvious in my opinion, but it's a reversal pattern, so we can't take this lightly at all. Now, key levels that I told you guys about on triple Qs, 529, 530. You get above these levels, chances are you're heading towards previous highs. But considering with how much we've moved today, I do imagine that the market is going to look for an opportunity to cool down. Okay, and what I mean by that is just like I said with the SPY, it's going to look for opportunities to at least fill one or two gaps here. Okay, so we could see a move back towards 525, maybe do some stop hunting before we see that next leg up back towards previous highs at around 539. Again, that's not me saying, oh, it can go either this way or that way. That is me saying that I do anticipate a dip before we start heading towards new highs. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. All right. Other than that, that's really all I have for the triple Qs. As long as we're above 529, pretty bullish. Again, you do have this reversal pattern here, so that is something to look out for. Let me actually get rid of this here. So this is something to pay attention to, something to be cautious of. And again, like I said with the SPY, you really want to be cautious within this area on the triple Qs. But as long as we stay above 529, I don't think bulls have anything to worry about just yet. But again, we have a lot of news coming in tomorrow. So let's look at the NASDAQ real quick. So plain and simple, 22K. Like I said in the last few videos actually, NASDAQ is going to head towards 21,900, 22K. And like I said in the last video, you want to be cautious around 22K. And so far, we are selling off from 22K. Now, we headed a little bit higher than 22K. I think we headed about 22,100, give or take. So yeah, but as long as we stay above 21,900, we're fine. What you really would like to see is a mount back above 22K. If we give up 21,900, chances are we're heading lower back towards 21,700. So that's what you want to look at for in Q. ES. So I posted this in the community tab this morning. You want to see ES mount above 6,120. It tried, it made an attempt to, but it just couldn't it just couldn't hold it. Okay, it headed as high as about 61.40, which is good, but at the end of the day, it ended up giving up that key level of 61.20. So that's what you want to see with the ES. You want to see it mount this. After that, you're looking at a move towards 61.10. After that, you're looking at a move towards 6,000. Ultimately, you definitely want to see 6,000 be held. You give up 6,000, chances are you're heading towards 6,070. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for the ES. And so we have to talk about semiconductors. So let's talk about the semiconductor ETF SMH. Um, Obviously, got amazing news. Semiconductors has been rallying like crazy. These are like solo carrying the market because you're seeing a lot of a few Mag 7 just not um, participating with the Mag 7 or the rest of the Mag 7, I should say, such as, you're seeing Apple not moving, you're seeing Tesla not doing too much. So it's definitely something to pay attention to and consider. I even said in the Discord that Apple not moving with the market is kind of suspicious, but enjoy the ride while it's here. In regards to SMH, what I would like to see, and I think is a good entry point, is a retest of this level here at around 261, 263 before we see another leg higher. And I think we can start heading as high as 280. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for SMH. Again, I'm simply saying that I expect a dip before we head towards all-time highs. Simple as that. I don't know how that's hard to understand. Okay, so that's all I really have for SMH. As long as it holds this key level here, I think you're fine. But once you break below this level, back below 263, we'll say 260 psych level, you enter very liquid bearish territory. Okay, you enter where these guys are, and then you get very liquid right here. So you can start dropping pretty fast all the way towards 255. All right, doesn't sound like anything too crazy, but if you're in a trade or if you're in calls right here and it drops like that, you're losing a lot of money at once. Okay, so you definitely want to pay attention to this level. I think it's a good buying opportunity or good dip trade opportunity. Not financial advice or anything like that, but that's just something I would consider. And then I do think we're going to see another leg up as high as about 275 to 80 on SMH. And so of course we have to talk about Nvidia. So we talked about Nvidia. I told you guys, as long as once Nvidia gets above 141, you start heading towards 144 and then 145 psych level, and then I believe highest I said short term for now was about 148, 150, and we pretty much were right on the money with that. Um, I do think Nvidia can head higher. I think there's an opportunity on the table for 163, 160. It's just a matter of when and how it gets there. But right now, I do think a good dip buying opportunity for me personally will be at around this level right here at 140, 139 before we see that next leg up. Um, Very important level here. You really want to see this level hold if Nvidia just so happens to give this up. But right now, you're in very liquid territory. So Nvidia can just easily continue to head higher, especially with that type of news coming out. Semiconductors can absolutely just continue to head higher, melt up. And then for the short term future, I do think that's kind of a bad sign for the market, but we'll talk about that in another video. Tesla. So yeah, Tesla just doesn't want to participate. Obviously, okay. You're seeing, Apple and Tesla just not participate at all. Apple is showing life. You want to see Apple get above 224. We'll talk about that in a bit. But Tesla, once it gave up 425, this thing was pretty much cooked. All right, it was just done. All right. So I don't have much for Tesla. As long as it stays above 410, you're okay. What you really want to see is Tesla reclaim 425. It tried today. It got as high as about 427 and just immediately gave that up. So if you want to be bullish on Tesla, that 425 level you really want to see hold. After that, you can start heading towards 430, and then you really want to get above 440. Like you really want to get above 440. You get above 440, we can definitely start talking about a move towards 500 on Tesla. Right now, it's just consolidating. Not much to talk about here, guys. Honestly, sorry. As long as it stays above 410, you're fine. If it gives up 405, you're getting scary. If it gives up 400, you're getting really scary. All right, so something to pay attention to in regards to Tesla. Apple. I talked about this. I talked about Apple. I told you guys Apple is due. All right. What I will say is that it's going to be weird. If the market does sell off, it's very much possible that Apple does the opposite, right? Because we're seeing Apple sell off while the market is pumping. So it's very much possible that the market or the rest of the market sells off and Apple pumps, right? So it's very much possible that that can be the case here. So I do imagine that Apple needs to reclaim 224 before we see another leg up all the way back towards this gap fill at around 228, 227 range, and then the actual gap is at 229, 230 range. And so after that, I do think Apple can start seeing a move towards the 250s. All right. So what I will say is that, like I said in the last video, a whale is in a call for 250 calls for February 21st. So that's something to pay attention to. I'll keep you guys updated on that. I'll actually bring it up for the next video because a lot of you have this idea that you're better than whales as retail traders, and that's insane. Like, I can literally, I literally will post options chain on whales actually trading a stock, and some of you in my comments would be like, they're not doing that. Or they would be like, yeah, you're wrong. And I'm just like, brother, I'm showing you the exact thing that the market movers, the people that actually move the market, are doing. And you're telling me that I'm wrong. Like, like, why are we arguing with market makers? Like, that's insane to me. So, just an ego thing, I guess. Retail traders thinking they're smarter than institutions somehow. But yeah, 250 costs on Apple, so could be a sign for what's to come for their earnings. Like I said, historically, Apple does run up into its earnings. This is a very key level that you want to see Apple hold. 220, I would say 219, honestly. Apple gives up 219. You can see a move towards 216, 215 range. And then from there, we'll have to see what happens. But for now, Apple looks okay. You want to see Apple get above 224. After that, you're looking at a move towards that gap fill at around 227, 228 range. And so that's what I'm looking at for Apple. In order for Apple to like really, really take off, and we're not quite there yet, we'll talk about it another time. You want to see it get above this 220, 234, 235 level, and then the sky is the limit from there, and we can start talking about some crazy numbers from there. All right, so that's what I have for Apple. Last but not least, well, I'll talk about Bitcoin and then I'll talk about the VIX because one of you are in love with the VIX, so I got to talk about it for you, simply because you always support the channel. Bitcoin. This is hideous. I don't even know what to make of this. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know what to make of this. Um, I guess because Trump is in office now, that Bitcoin just doesn't know what the heck it wants to do. What I will say is that these meme coins are really, you got to be careful with this stuff, guys. Meme coins, get your money and leave. I've been there before. Trust me, we've all been there before. Just make your money and leave. It's not worth holding. Okay, that's all I would say. You know exactly what meme coins I'm talking about. What I will say in regards to Bitcoin, it needs to get back above 103K. I would say 102,500 is a good sign, but you really want to see it get above 103K. As long as it's holding this zone right here at 99K, Bitcoin is fine. So it can just keep, trading within this area over and over until whatever news happens. Maybe Bitcoin is waiting on Trump news. I said this in the community tab. Can Trump's speech send Bitcoin soaring? You really want to see a Bitcoin like backs up crypto. I mean, not Bitcoin bags up crypto. Trump backs up crypto. I mean, we know his administration does, but we aren't getting like exact words from his mouth as far as speeches or anything like that on what he wants to do in regards to crypto. I could be wrong. Maybe I missed a speech or something, but yeah, I imagine Bitcoin is waiting for that. Could be wrong here. But yeah, this is hideous. It's not much to make out of this. You want to see Bitcoin get above 103K. You really, really want to see Bitcoin just pretty much get above 109K. And then from there, you can see a move all the way towards 112K. Again, I'm gonna say it every video. I think Bitcoin by the end of this year is going to be at 130K, if not sooner. All right, simple as that. And then last but not least, we got to talk about the VIX. Like I said, whales continue to load up calls on the VIX. Discord members are seeing this. We keep talking about it every single day because they just keep loading up calls. Okay, they just always are buying calls on this thing. All right, for February and March, and yeah, it's a clear sign that whales are anticipating some major news coming up. It's important to note that we are illiquid to the upside, like very illiquid to the upside on the VIX. So this area is going to be liquidated sometime in the near future, all the way towards I would go as high as like 28. All right. We're seeing calls all the way up here. It's crazy. All right. You just have to see it for yourself. I'm sure someone thinks they're smarter than institutions and they're like, oh, yeah, they're not doing that. And that's not going to happen. But hey, um, retail traders. All right, sometimes they just think they rule the world, okay, and they think they move the market. But it is what it is. VIX, you really want to see a bounce here if you are bearish. It filled this gap and it's just mounting here. It's just mounting here. It's just consolidating here. It seems like VIX is waiting on something. It's waiting on news, obviously. So you definitely want to be careful here. There are more gaps to the downside for the VIX, so this rally can definitely continue, but you definitely want to be careful right here when it comes to the VIX. In regards to upside, if VIX gets back above 16, you're heading towards 18. Then after that, you can start heading as high as $22 or 22 strike range. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for the VIX. Let's talk about IWM real quick, and then I'll get you guys up out of here. All right, and so the IWM. Puts are still being loaded up on this thing. All right, our Discord bot alerted more puts on this. They just keep getting alerted over and over. I think it's in this tab here. Yeah. It's in this tab here, and you have, I think it's 218. Here it is. So whales are loading up 218 puts. Some whale jumped into 218 puts for March 21st, 2025. It's important to note that the VIX does not move without the market. All right. So if the VIX is going to tank, chances are the market is going to tank as well. I mean, not the VIX, the IWM. I keep saying the VIX, sorry. If the IWM is going to tank, Russell, whatever you want to call it, is going to tank, chances are the market is going to tank as well. We currently retested this trend. And right when we hit this trend, that's when those puts came in, all right, for the options change. So something to definitely pay attention to. If you want access to these types of trades and you want to see what whales are doing, you can, you know, join the Discord link in the description below. Or you can sign up for quant data. Link is in the description below as well. It's more expensive than simply joining the Discord. But if you want to trade on your own, you want to do your own thing, you don't want to be a part of community or anything like that, I completely understand. Do your thing. But both those links will be in the description below. I got it here just in case you guys want to, check it out, check out the contract, see if it's legit, and you let me know what you think. And, if you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know as well. A lot of you just need some serious therapy in the comments, man. There's something wrong with a lot of you. Some of you in the comments, you trolls that be talking tough and like calling people clowns and stuff and insulting people for no reason because you're mad at the world. It's insane to me. Yeah, definitely seek some help, man. Other than that, that's all I have. Until the next video, traders, good luck. Be cautious. See you in the next video.